Hello friends, welcome back to CCSP Certified channel. My name is Rag and I have 14 years of industry experience. As I informed before, I have recently cleared CCSP exam and decided to prepare this video series on the most important topics because soundness of concept is very important to clear the exam. So in first 7 videos I have covered cryptography. Around 20 questions come from the cryptography. But after this I started IAM. Around 15 question comes from the IAM. So it's the third lecture of the topic 2 and we'll cover authorization and the accountability in today's lecture. So before we start this, I just do a quick recap that we have seen that IAM is a part of domain 1, 4 and 5 and CCSP does not ask question domain specific. They will present a concept to you and you have to give the answer whether it come for domain 1 or 4 or 5. So I try to extract the common topics from all the domains and teach them in one go. That's how I prepare or how teach. And I started IAAA as a first concept of the IAM section. And in lecture 1 we have covered identification. In lecture 2 we have started authentication. We have seen what is type of authentication we do. We have seen single sign-on. In lecture 3 we have seen federation, which is very important for exam. We have seen OAuth, SAML, OIDC. So look for this videos first before starting this, because today I'm covering authorization and accountability. That is the topic of the day. So before starting the topic, I just cover the peace of mind promotion activities. This ISC Square has started for March month. So actually ISC Square gave a a promotion activity that known as a peace of mind, and they offer a actually free second attempt in case you are not able to qualify first attempt, and they give the offer almost every couple of months. So current month offer was that you if you enroll by 15 March and give the exam by 31st, you will get a second attempt. You can write a second attempt by 31st May in case you are not able to qualify. So this was the offer which is just expired. Next offer might be end of May or first week of June. And as you have seen that once the offer comes, hardly you get 10-15 days to write the exam. So you should be ready with the preparation. And for according to this offers, I start my batches also. So I just give some classroom studies also, and that will be a weekday batch. I'm starting from 7th April onward. That will go till 19th of May, and next promotion offer will come around that time only. It will be 4 days a week class, 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. IST, approx 36 hours. And as we are working professionals, so I have made it more flexible, and I will share the classroom recordings if you miss the class because of some reasons, but climb and timing also before the office hours. So this, if you can enroll for the weekday batch and you go for the dedicated classes, you please write to me. I will do a demo class on 5th April from 6:30 to 7 p.m. IST. I will share the Zoom link in the description. If you want to know about the classes before enrolling, you can join these demo classes. Also, one more help, or one more content type I have created for you guys. So in case you are not able to join daily classes because of your work-life balance, because of your job profiles, then there is an option that you can see my recorded videos. So I have uploaded few recorded videos in the playlist name as a CCSP classroom recording, that is part of same channel. I will share this link also, so you can see how I'm recording, and you can buy these recordings with a nominal price, very nominal price. So rather than joining the classes, you may record see this recording also, and along with these recordings and the classes, I will give the question banks, test series, and my guidance also. So classes or the recording plus question bank, test series, and guidance you can purchase from me. Just write to me for that the same. Now we come to the topic of the day. This first is authorization. Second is accountability. We have seen that in authentication we authenticate the user, we identify the user who you are, but whether he is authorized to access any area, any resource, this authorization. We have seen this board in many of the places, in offices also, that you are not authorized to use this area. So if you are an employee of a company, if you have I card, you can enter the premises, but you cannot access the server room. because you are not authorized to do. So authorization is process of giving some permissions or do or have something. So after authentication, user must get authorization for doing certain tasks. So we have seen that there are two parties there. One is the identity provider, one is service provider. So identity provider do the authentication part, and service provider post post authentication handle the authorization. This is how mainly the service provider and identity provider works. The second thing is the accountability. Why we are implementing IAM system, why we are doing all these things, to know who has done, whether he is the authorized persons to do this one, who is accountable. So to understand the accountability, we do a proper logging of the sessions. We do who access the system, what time, what is the trend. We have a SIM system. We have many systems who can identify the chain of trust or chain of the root of the logs, and can identify, and someone can uh, be accountable whether he is doing some work beyond his capabilities, beyond his job role. Then they can be identified via the accountability. So accountability is to ensure that someone cannot deny that whether he has done the work or not. And this is very important. The IAM system we have implemented because of the accountability only. And the few practices in the IAM system that we have to understand or remember. First is always use trusted systems to manage the identities rather than using local or manual management, as may it lead to joiner, leavers, and movers problem. If there is no centralized or trusted system like HR systems to manage the identities, and each system manually or locally managing the identities, then you may have an issue that the user may have left the organization, so the central system or trusted system has no user identity, but the target systems which has created manually or locally, those accounts remain there. So if the joiners join the company, manually have to create them if there is no central management of the identity. If they leave the companies, then there's a problem that we don't delete them. The orphan accounts or the accounts not only have more licensing cost, but also threat to the organization, security threat to the organizations. So joiner leavers, and even they move to different roles, the permission can be managed properly from the centralized system. Second is local account should be created used only for the glass break situations. If even it's not that you don't create local account at all. For some of the systems, if you are dependent on the third party for federation, you may still or should create the local accounts, because in case the third party system or film system got down, got corrupted, you will not able to access your own systems. To break the glass, you should have some local accounts created and should be used in case of emergency only. Hardening of the software hardware is there, the removal of the default accounts and services. If any default accounts getting created or services getting installed by default, they should be removed. This is known as hardening process. So all the default accounts, whether it's a root account or the sudo or the user account or the some guest account that's created automatically, should be removed. This is one of the best practice should be followed. Use industry known IAM system rather than building own IAM system. So rather than you build own centralized IAM system or use own identity management system, use industry known or accepted IAM system, because they are kept updated with the best industry practice. They are used by different customers, so they are tried and tested solutions. They will solve the issues quickly if get rest. But if you build your own system over the time, you may stop upgrading that, you may stop maintaining that, and there is a high chances that we use the vulnerable systems and they may impact the whole security of the systems. Last thing, the federated IAM system. If you use the federations setup rather than using different IAM systems in different services, use a centralized IAM system. There is a federated IAM systems, and again, along with this, you always should create a local accounts for class breaks. But federation IAM system will give a centralized management of IAM identity and access management. So joiner leavers problems can be solved to many extents. So this is the theory part for the accountability and authorization along with the IAM system that we have seen in the last two lectures. So we'll cover a few questions, and that will be around 5 questions that will cover the concept associated with this. So first is industry best practices indicate that cloud customer do not. So that is a negative question, and as I mentioned before also, CCSP underlined the negate word. Like if it is a not question, that they 100% give you underline, so you don't miss that one. So we'll we'll cover with the second option first. Create a contract language that favors over the provider. That's accepted. Yeah, they should be written personal for cloud operation. Retain, you have to retain them your personals so they understand the cloud operation better. That's correct. Encrypt data before it reach to the cloud. We have seen that in the cryptography, the data encryption is very important, and even data into rest, data in use, and data in motion all should be encrypted. The last one, create own IAM systems solutions. We have seen that in the best practices, we should not create own IAM system. Better we should use the IAM systems that is industry accepted, used, and even if it's federated, this much better. So the uh, answer should be A. Now the next question is, an essential element of access management is the practice of granting permissions based on validated identification. Here it is asking what is the characteristics of access management that is associated with the granting permissions. So we have seen that permission is associated uh, uh, that concept is authorization. Authorization is granting permissions, and identification is authentication. But post identification, we grant the permission, that is authorization. We have seen few federation protocols. Out of this, OAuth is a authorization protocol we have seen. So authorization protocol or authorization is a concept that associated with the granting permissions. The next question is, you implement IAM systems in order to control access between subject and object. What is ultimate purpose of this efforts? Why you installing the IAM system? What is the ultimate purpose of this one? So as I mentioned before, also CCSP gave the options, which is multiple correct options there, but you select the which is best one. So definitely we are implementing IAM system for identification purpose. We are doing for authentication purpose, and we are doing the authorization also, but ultimate purpose is accountability. So we have seen that someone should not deny that he has done the work. The proper logs, proper mechanism should be there to understand who has done what. So to reconstruct a narrative, we use IAM systems. Accountability is handled via the IAM systems. The correct answer is D in this case. Next question is, there's second last question. Why the deprovisioning element of identification component of IAM system is important? We have seen that provisioning and deprovisioning, and that is part of the identification first part, that we create a identity and we remove the identity. So why the removal of the identity is required when the user leave the organizations? Why it is important? So there are options, we read them. Extra account cost so much extra money, that may be a case, a valid case. Open but unassigned accounts are vulnerabilities. This most important reason that we are there, because it is a vulnerability. User tracking is essential to performance. There is nothing associated with the performance. Encryption has to be maintained. There is nothing associated with the encryption in the IAM systems. So the option A and B looks more relevant, but the best option is B. The IAM system is required because we don't want compliance, or we don't want our systems to be vulnerable. So those accounts which is orphan accounts can be used to attack the systems, can be used to access the system, and if they are privileged account, if they are the account which has admin access, may impact more severely than the normal accounts. So this open and unassigned accounts create the vulnerabilities in the system. The last question is, what is a usual order of an access management process? So how the access management process works? What is the order of this one? So CCSP asks such questions also. So we have seen that IAAA first authentication, authorization, and access. So before access, we check the authentication and authorization of the user. The process or the flow should be B, that is authentication, then authorization, and then access. This is for today. We'll cover more advanced concept related to IAM, CASB, or the privilege account management, centralized LDAV or centralized repository. Those we'll discuss in the next lecture. But as I mentioned before, enroll for the video classes, or look for the or purchase the recordings in case you want to you haven't done the any training or any classes before to clear the exam. If you already have gone through once, you can watch my videos to understand the concept more and to clear your exam. Thank you. Like my channel, subscribe my channel.